Oh, what's up, nerds? Back with another video. I am currently at the parents' house and I am attempting to get my editing software working so I can get these Yankee games uploaded because I have the Boston first game where they beat the Yankees, almost sneezed, and then I have the last night's game, which was where the Yankees came back and clinched the series. And so I would like to get those games up in their entirety. But until then, I wanted to upload something, and there was something that I wanted to upload for a couple days. Well, I think only 2 days. But it's essentially a breakdown of the Asmongold return and some different things about it. Because whether or not you like Asmongold, you think he's an incel, you think he's right wing, you think whatever bullshit about him, right? There's something that I think anybody and everybody should understand and respect him for, right? And that's him talking about the death of his father and him talking about the effect it has on him, the reality of the life of the world, talking about his final moments, talking about the way he's giving away his possessions, his time with him, his time now. Because for me, personally, I've got old parents, right? I don't know how many of you guys think about this at all. I don't know how old your parents are if they're alive. People who are watching, right? But my parents are in their 70s, right? And getting closer to 80s all the time, right? And if you don't die in your 70s, you live to be in your 80s and in a hospital or in hospice or having someone wipe your ass for you or something. It's not pretty, right? And there are, exceptions to the rule. Generally, people who are in better shape, are able to kick it around a little bit more. They're able to walk around, they're able to do things. They can wipe their own ass, right? They don't lose their mental faculties, right? But it doesn't exactly get easier as you get older. And so understanding that, and coming to terms with that isn't easy, because everybody thinks that their parents are just going to be their parents for, however. But the reality of the situation is that our parents live, when we all live inside of bodies, inside of these meat suits, right? And every day there's always the breakdown of cells and the rebuilding of cells. And as you get older, the rebuilding of those cells they don't rebuild back 100% all the time, right? And it's just something that I do respect him for talking about and being honest about. Because even if Asmongold is a multi millionaire, right? If not coming up on $100 million, right? At least the valuation, right? He might not be actually have $100 million in the bank, but valuated at that, right? And he didn't pay someone to watch his dad. He didn't pay someone to wipe his dad's ass and to take care of him and clean his house and do all this shit. He did this himself. He went out there, despite, again, having the ability to pay for all this shit to do whatever, and he said, no, I'm going to take care of my dad. I'm going to do this, right? It's my responsibility. And, again, that's, to me, that's something that I respect the shit out of him for doing that, right? And the other thing, that he talks about, I think is very important, is about how much free time he has now. Because, again, who knows how old you guys' parents are? Who knows if you'll get to this point? Who knows, right? But for him, again, even being a multi-millionaire, streaming all the time, doing all this, he stopped streaming so that he could take care of his dad. When he was done with streams, he would go take care of his dad. And he invested a lot of time into his parents. Into his well, his mom had already died, but both his mom and his dad, right? Which, I mean, hey, they're the people that brought him into the world. They're the people that took care of him growing up, got him to this point, right? Maybe they didn't teach him how to stream and stuff, but, taking care of him, taking him through school, doing all this to get him to the point where he's at, right? And again, he could have just spent the money. He could have spent money to got this taken care of, and he didn't. He spent his own time, right? Spent his own money, and because time is money. And now he's talking about how much free time he has. It's like, damn, I could just do whatever I want. I don't have parents holding me back. Not that's what he said, but I mean, like, that's sometimes that's what people think. Like, why am I doing this? What's the point of doing this? I could be doing other things. I could be doing this. I could be doing that. And he talks about how he would do anything to get that time back, right? Spend any amount of money he could spend to get time back with his parents. And I just thought that his last video, or one of his last, it's not the last video he posted. I'll put it in the description below. But the video where he talks about these realities, these different things, if you don't know who Asmongold is, you have no idea, just watch it. If you know who Asmongold is, you hate his guts, think he's whatever bullshit, still watch it. Because whether or not you like it, you will be in a similar situation. I mean, hey, maybe you'll get lucky and both your parents will die in a car crash. And they'll just be gone and you won't have to deal with any of this shit. Hey, maybe that's the case, right? But, if you're not a deranged psychopath, right, I think it's important because he just talks about family. And something that's really, the last thing I'll say is his audience is all, younger men in their 30s. I'm sure like a small percentage of women watch, right? But I don't know how many people really think about this. I don't know how many people really understand these things. And having someone as famous and as Asmund, as popular as Asmund, talk about this and introduce and be upfront and honest about all this stuff, I think it's pretty fucking big. And I respect the shit out of him, and I'm happy that he did it. And, you should watch the video if you're someone who still has their parents. Spend time with your parents. You don't spend time with your parents, whatever it is, something you should take a watch. Anyway, breakfast is done. Smoke grass, eat ass, be excellent to each other. The Yankee videos will hopefully be up soon. Tomorrow, maybe if I get lucky, I'll post one today, post one tonight, or I'll finish editing them, and then they'll go live Saturday and Sunday. All right. Deuces.